And if it doesn't happen, you can't sue anybody. So you know what you're paying for. You're paying for something. And it's wonderful. Let it be this way. Life is mysterious. There's nothing to be proven. In mystery, everything has to be mysterious, you know? So that's the beauty of life. You can't just make reality in a particular way, because reality is never in a particular way. Reality is in many different ways. We are trying as humans to put our finger on something that is unfingerable. There I go. There I go. There, I said it. That's the most. Yeah. That's the most I can do right now. I can unfinger the fingerable. Do I feel transformed? Yes, every day. And at the same time, obviously, because I've watched some videos before, let's call it brainwashing, okay? And I know how this sounds. I don't believe I've actually been brainwashed, but we can't ignore the fact that that's a possibility. That's what I'm trying to say. Watching 3 or 4 hours and reading books about it before you do it, and reading about what's gonna happen after you do your aura transformation. You're gonna have this ease, this peace, this silence. You're gonna be better equipped to deal with your dramas. Obviously, this will induce a state of placebo after you've done it, because you have all these expectations of that's gonna happen or could happen. And then there is a disclaimer. We cannot guarantee any outcome. That's what you're told after you have your transformation, or even before. Nobody can guarantee anything. Meaning that everything that is said that is going to happen, it's just a possibility. And if it doesn't happen, you can't sue anybody. So you know what you're paying for. You're paying for something. You're paying for something. And honestly, would I do it again, even if nothing happened? Yes. Why? Because, first of all, it wasn't a fortune. And at the same time, you gotta try things in this life. You can't just ignore them because they're spiritual voodoo. What if it was true? Would you risk being ignorant to something greater than yourself? That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying blind faith here. I'm saying open faith, in the sense that you're curious and you want to know more about it. And just because you don't have proof, it doesn't mean it's true, and it doesn't mean it's not true. With this sort of logic, you have to go with the 60-40 or 80-20 ratio, in the sense of, if I'm open to it, I have to also allow it to be as true in my life. Besides, it has been discovered that the brain cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. That already tells us a lot. So it means that you can imagine a lot of stuff about who you are, or what you want to become, and that might actually come true. And the brain will attract that sort of reality. We all know about law of attraction, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about things here that manifest according to your beliefs. I wouldn't say that's science, but it's very close to science. I think it's quite obvious. Empirical evidence suggests that what you believe you attract. This has been proven so many times. For example, you can even look at an elephant who believes that it cannot move away from a little stick. I guess you know about the Indian tradition of domesticating an elephant by sticking it to a little stick while it's young, and then when it grows bigger, it will never run away, because it will still believe that stick is unmovable. So that's an empirical evidence. And I guess proving something obvious doesn't really make sense, right? Proving that the sky is blue. So how do you prove the sky is blue? I guess there is some sort of like, well, you take 1 billion photos, and if they all become in the spectrum of whatever the blue frequency is, then that's true. You know, it just doesn't really make sense. I mean, you don't need to, the sky is blue because the sky is blue and you can see it. After all, nobody can transform us. And you know, the main question that I have is like, how can somebody transform your aura? You know, and maybe they would say, well, actually, nobody is doing that for you. You're actually doing it yourself by agreeing to have this transformation. So it's like two people coming together and upgrading your aura. And I wonder how Ani Senov did it to herself. How did she upgrade her aura? Because she had this skin disease, and somehow that was healed because of this upgrade. That's the sort of thing that can come into account when we are performing a ritual. If the ritual is promising us, okay, not promising because that's a strong word, nobody's promising anything after all, but if it's suggesting that it's like a very likely possibility, you're auto-suggesting to your brain, hey, I'm gonna become a brighter being, lighter, I'm gonna have clear boundaries, and whatever I can feel as valid, you know, things that are the most spiritual things you can think about in terms of what a human can do. You know, like what are the most spiritual things a human can do? Take every experience as it is and not give it too much label, and go with the flow, and the idea that, you know, if you feel sad, let it be. Don't make it more dramatic than it is, and at the same time don't get attached to it, and it will pass. You know, be happy with what you have and appreciate the little things, you know, these little things which make a lot of sense. Well, these are sort of the outcomes of having an aura transformation. You become the best version of yourself, or you could become your best version of yourself. So just like with any other programs, there is some sort of transformation, and what you're paying for is basically a contract to yourself. And if it didn't have any value, like monetary value, or you probably wouldn't take it so seriously. So I appreciate that it has a price. At the same time, I appreciate that it doesn't have a price tag that you feel like, this is crazy, I'm never gonna pay thousands, you know, just to have my aura transformation with a very unlikely outcome. So here we are. Where am I going, by the way? I've been walking for some time here. Yeah, well, I'm walking in the forest. It's a journey, and I'm trying to tell you about aura transformation, and it kind of becomes a monologue about meaning of life, sort of. I hope you enjoy it. Maybe I use this opportunity to end this video, even though I'm probably gonna talk for another half an hour. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come again here in these magical, oh my god, lands, magical highlands, to discover more about who you are or what you can become. Anyway, so it's been more than a year since my Great Depression.